welcome one, welcome all, welcome to another exciting episode of, well, a playthrough of Endless Space 2, but this time it's different. This time we've got a very interesting mod called Enhanced Space 2 that we're playing through here. And I'm a big fan of a lot of the things this mod does, so I thought it'd be worth featuring in a playthrough. Changes a lot of things, so let's take a quick look at that before we jump in. To that end, let's pull up the notes here. There we go. So let's start at the top here. You can see there's a big list of things that he's done. I'm just going to go over a few quick highlights. I'm not going to cover everything. He reworked galaxy weights so that 1 and 2 planet systems are more rare, and 3 and 4 are the norm, which is obviously good. I hate coming across like 2 planet systems. They never feel worth it, and yet you still have to go and actually invest in them because they're between 2 good systems and you can't let pirates spawn in it. It just feels bad, right? So anyway, anomaly generation's more flavorful and makes more sense. You can't get a coral reef on a lava planet or low and high gravity on the same planet, just as a few examples. There's another mod that did the same thing. It kind of made some rules about how anomalies spawn so they wouldn't make weird combinations. The planet tree. So, he's made this a lot more intuitive and interesting, and it took me a while to figure it all out, but I've got it figured out here. So, here is a map made by somebody, I think him or somebody that likes his mod, and this is the way this works. All these green ones here are lush-type planets. The further you go to the extreme, the more food they produce. Swamp, by the way, is still considered a lush-type planet, but it is so mixed. It's not extreme with food production. It's like you get a little more food, but you also get, it's like a balanced-type planet, right? And then Snow is a balanced-type planet, but it is considered stable, like all of these other cold planets here. Stable planets is the blue tree. So Snow is also stable, but it's the most balanced, which is why it's in its own different color here. And then Tundra is a dry planet, and it gets more extreme and better at dust production. By the way, this is science production, if that wasn't clear. More dust production as you get to the more extreme end of the dry planets. Steppes starts the craggy tree and gets more extreme as you go down here on the craggy planets for industry production. Finally, Tropical is a new concept within the mod. It's actually Mediterranean in the mod. I think they renamed it since this image was taken. But Mediterranean is the first on the influence branch, which is a water-type planet. So Mediterranean, Atoll, Ocean, and Terran are water planets, and they all produce influence. So now all the FIDSI are represented. That's food, industry, dust, science, and influence. And what's more, so this is the base planet types. You've got your lush, water, stable, dry, and craggy. And that gives you a general idea of what the planet is good at producing. But then there's a couple other tags that get added onto this. The 4 at the very top here are fertile types, which improve their ability to produce food. So even Terran and Ocean, even though influence is the main thing they focus on, they're still good at producing some food if you get specializations on the planet that increases based on fertility. Oh, hey, Novio. Welcome. And so the fertile is at the top. Harsh is the new thing for sterile, because some of the things that had sterile planets still showed life on them, which is the exact opposite of sterile. So what this actually is the ones on the bottom here, these two, and these two are considered to be harsh planets. They have the same symbolism as the sterile planets, but they're called harsh now. So anything that isn't one of those ones on the bottom that's harsh, or one of these 4 that's on the top, which is lush, the rest of them are all mild. And mild have some bonuses for everything. But they're not good bonuses for anything. Harsh can get very good bonuses, for example, for industry, dust, and science, but fertility gives you the best influence and food output. The Supremacy DLC I do recommend. It's a very cool addition. I think it's worthwhile. So that is the main thing. Now there's 2 more aspects, because if that weren't enough, you still have hot and cold planets, but everything in this entire tree is considered temperate except for these 2, which are considered burning. That's the old hot, now renamed burning. And these 2 on the left, which are renamed freezing. And the gas planets are slightly different, but this is the general overview of these planets. So that's how that works. And what's more is, when it comes to terraforming, this is a very easy map to read. Anything in the orange tree can terraform to anything else in the orange tree. It costs more as you get to the more extreme edge, so if you want to super specialize a system to make super amounts of production there, it's going to cost you a lot to do it, if you make them all lava, for example. And if you want to jump from tree to tree, you can do it if they're next to each other, and as long as they're at the same level of specialization. So an ash planet can be terraformed into an arid planet, or an alpine or a lava. And a lava can terraform into a desert. Desert can terraform into either a barren or a lava, or anything in its own tree. And everything can always terraform into the balanced planets in its own type. So anything that's in the craggy can terraform to steppes, and from steppe, it can terraform to any of these other types. So that's kind of an interesting map to see the way that works. So let's head back into the notes. There's a few more. Whoa! I've gone noteception on us here. Okay, so that's the planet tree. That's the lush influence, the sterile, the harsh. We just talked about all that. Toxic planets are called swamp planets, and they're now a food planet as opposed to being a trash planet you never want, which was definitely true. Now, planet slots, size is the biggest factor in determining the maximum amount of slots on a planet. Basically, you take the size, and it gives you these bonuses, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7. And then harsh planets, remember those 6 in the bottom, get only 1 additional planet population. The fertile planets at the top get an additional +3, and the mild planets, all the ones in the middle, get +2. So you add this number plus that number, and that's what you get. But that means you can get a huge lava planet, and it has 8 population. Excuse me. So that allows you to have more interesting sizes of planets, and making that when you find a huge planet, you're like, yes! In the other game, you'd find a huge lava planet, you're like, yeah! Oh, it's only 5 slots. Whatever. Also, the overpopulation malice makes more sense. -5 population, -5 happiness per population over the limit, and it gives you a food penalty above the population threshold to make food improvements more relevant in the late game, which makes a lot of sense. So we just talked about the terraformation tree, and curiosities have had a big revamp in order to add more flavor, to reduce the bloat feeling of exploration. You'd find so many curiosities that they would just be everywhere, and they would give you kind of useless things at least half the time. You get battle cards that you never care about, modules that would be instantly out of date, or ridiculously low amounts of resources, like, yay, 20 dust. I make 80 a turn, so thanks for that, I guess. And the different curiosity types give you different kind of outcomes. I don't think the tooltips have really been updated to represent this, so I haven't really paid attention to that yet. But know that when you research a curiosity, when you explore curiosity, it's going to be a lot more interesting and rewarding than it was previously, basically. And also, the higher era explorations, the ones that you can only see later in the game when you increase your science quadrant research, those are much more valuable for you later in the game. Let's see. What else is on here that's worth talking about? Oh, they removed some awfully bad rewards that nobody wants. And they were modules that the AI would equip on their ships that would just be terrible. So, there you go. He reworked a lot of the economy, nerfing industry, which was the king resource because it would let you get everything else, try to make dust more relevant in a bunch of different ways, make food matter a lot more in the late game. As we mentioned, there's penalties in overcolonization, making happiness harder to get, and by making sterile planets have a lot more population slots. We talked about that earlier. The big sterile planets can have more population slots, which means you have more mouths to feed, which means food is still important if you try to make those extreme sterile planets, aka our harsh planets, like the lava, the ash, the desert, etc., that are very good at one thing. Technologies and deeds. They move some. Excuse me. The creator of this moved some non-optional technologies to stage unlocks to create more situations where you have to make choices rather than picking the same text all the time. Very, very valuable, and we'll look at that later when we get in the game. He changed the way that deposits work, especially deposit values are percent increases now instead of flat boosts. And that's very important because the flat boosts you could put everywhere and just flood the system with extra strategic resources and things. And then it would not really matter that you found an abundant deposit of this or that. So he's trying to make the deposit sizes matter more. So if you find an abundant deposit of, you know, Orichalcux or Quadranix or something, you're like, oh crap, I gotta get me that. Because it will make a huge difference over the fact that you have a poor deposit of something. Strategic deposit effects on the systems used to be a bunch of different stuff. Now all strategics give you plus industry instead of science sometimes. So you know exactly, oh, I found a strategic resource. It definitely gives me some industry. That planet's going to get extra industry per pop from that resource being there. And luxury resources didn't used to match the thing that they did when you upgraded them, which was very confusing. Like, oh, hey, when I upgrade a planet system with this luxury resource, it gives me food. But the resource itself on the planet gives me science? What? Didn't make sense. So he fixed that. It is now consistent. He reworked the effect of luxuries on the system upgrades so that they're not so ridiculously powerful. Hello, Lezidrak. I'm great. How are you? I know it's been a while since I've played. The thumbnail says Battlefield 5. I thought I changed the thumbnail. I must not have. I'll have to fix it after. Sorry about that. I must have saved it as a PNG instead. Let's see if I can fix that real quick. Yep, I saved it as a PNG instead of a JPG, which is why YouTube didn't like it, because it was too big. There we go. Uploading thumbnail. Thumbnail updated. Should be fixed now. Sorry about that, guys. Let's pop back in here. So, these are... What was I talking about? The luxuries. You could get some really awesome luxuries that spawn near you, and they would make upgrading your systems insanely good. Like, you could get that huge happiness bonuses so that all your systems would constantly be producing massive amounts of food, and I think it's dust for happiness upgrades at the system level, but then at the Empire level it's the reverse. Anyway, he changed that so that they're not so ridiculously powerful, and he added default effect. So when you upgrade your system, you get +2 of all the different FIDs for level 2, +4 for level 3, and +8 for the final level, which helps modulate things. So even if you get some FIDs for stuff you don't necessarily need, upgrading your system still gives you a boost. So it kind of reduces the big hump you can get in a bell curve on those kinds of variations. Marketplace. This is a big one. You can't sell your potatoes at a ridiculously high price thanks to inflation, which was a big exploit that a lot of people were using in the game, where like dust just didn't matter. You could make so much dust just selling off all your resources, because even when they hit the floor, the minimum value, they'd still give you a ton of money. All right. So yeah, Lezidrak, the thumbnail on Twitch says it correctly, but the one that I have on YouTube did not, which was a problem. By the way, the YouTube stream is at 1080p 60 FPS. The Twitch stream is at 720 30. Because YouTube allows a much higher bitrate, so I prioritize that one. Plus, it's the place where I store all my videos, so I want that one to be the highest quality. Minor factions. Did you know when minor factions hit a certain population collection bonus, the final one, they give you a specialized law? I didn't even know that because it's so uncommon for you to get 50 pop of a minor faction. So what he did was take minor factions and made the final level 20 instead of 50, which means those laws will A, actually get reached, and B, when they are reached, they won't be completely useless and like out of date. So that's really cool as well. There were things in the game that just never came to pass that he's making sure come to pass now. This is kind of cool. Minor civilizations, there's now a cost to introduce yourself to them unless you have a ship physically there. So no more just like spamming influence across the galaxy to try to get every civilization to like you. It's going to cost you a lot of extra, like couple hundred influence at least, to introduce yourself to minor civs if you don't have a ship there. That can get pretty expensive pretty fast. He differentiated the different types of minor civs, including the fact that Pragmatists and Militarists, two of the most useful ones, have a negative trend. If you don't keep spending influence with them, you will lose status over time. So I'm a big fan of that. Let's see, bringing a minor civ into your zone of influence, so having your circle encompass them, now gives you another bonus, makes them easier to keep on your side. There are some things like lowering the evasion cap from 95% to 60%. If you could get maxed that up, you're basically having invulnerable fleets. And reworked a bunch of things to try to make bigger support ships more valuable rather than maxing out an armada of one CP supports. Bunch of other changes here. Like I said, I'm skipping over most of them. Ground battles can now be countered, the tactics that you can provide. For example, if you're getting attacked, you would just draft people every time. Draft to stall the enemy and slow them down. And it was just a super powerful ability in most cases. Now, when you pick a tactic, it specifically counters another tactic, rock, paper, scissors style, so that draft isn't the end-all, be-all, most obvious thing. I don't know if he's properly trained the AI to figure that out. Let's hope so. Let's find out. Also, preemptive bombing is now renamed to Orbital Siege 1 and requires you to be sieging the system to be available, and you have to have a minimum amount of siege in order to trigger it, which gives a benefit to keeping those like extra siege modules and having siege power matter after you start an invasion. In vanilla, what you could do was you could go to a system and siege it down to almost nothing, drop your invasion fleet, and then move the siege fleet on to the next. And while the ground battles were occurring, your siege fleet would be somewhere else already prepping that one to break down. And it was really just super efficient at just burning through enemy systems and taking them very quickly, and it felt a little game breaky, so that's why he did that. Now we're not going to go over the factions because I don't know what faction I'm going to be yet. So let's hop back into the game here and find out, because I'm going hard random here. We got a random faction. I really like all the factions. I like the ones that I've played. There are a bunch I haven't played that I'm excited to try out, including the brand new one. So let's give it a shot, shall we? I like to play on slow speed. I found that pace fits the game a little better for me. We're using a large galaxy size. Everything else here's pretty standard. We're not turning off any of the victory conditions or anything. I just like to leave them all on and see what happens. All right, here we go. Boom! Who do we get? Oh, does that mean we got the Unfallen? I've never played the Unfallen. This is going to be interesting. I don't know anything about them, except that they have those big tendrils and they like guardians. You can invest in a trade company from the economy screen in order to increase the trade route's income. Game launched and ready. Yes.
Ignorant of other worlds, of other races, we slumbered for ages. We were even ignorant of ourselves. For we knew fire as rebirth, renewal, life, not as death, from above as from below. The carnage of the flames terrified us, but the heart soothed us, and we thought long about what we must do. For this new fire also awoke things inside us. Talents, truths, and a desire to heal the galaxy. Everything begins with fire. But we will not let everything end with fire.
Room. Get to play the Ents today. Alright. That's interesting. They start with... Is that right? Entwine value? I mean, they start... Okay. Galactic HQ. That's not where it is, though, is it? Where do you see... Because it looks like they're starting with a behemoth that has the Citadel promotion, right? That's the symbol for that, but maybe that's just... that's the visual, I mean. Is it the Vine ship that's doing it? But I feel like the Citadel was like right up here somewhere. It would be like on the screen when we did use the Citadel. But I guess not. I don't know. Somebody who's played the Unfallen will have to let me know. But yes, the Unfallen voice is a good ASMR thing. So what do we got here? We've got this forest planet, very good at food. As I remember, forests are one of the fertile planets. It's also lush because it is one of the food types. And the tree here just means that it's suitable to spawn a guardian. It seems like everything that's not harsh is suitable to spawn a guardian. You can see this, or not, mild actually. Everything that's lush, I guess, is suitable to spawn a guardian. Milds are not suitable to spawn a guardian. So, we probably don't want to do Sacred Harvest here. We don't want to sacrifice the Guardians. Those are good for the Unfallen. But just briefly, let's take a look at their whole deal here. Because like I said, I haven't really looked into it. They've only ever known their homeworld. We just saw about that. They wanted to peaceably study what is near rather than discover what is far. But when other people showed up, they're like, oh crap, we need to do something about this. The modern era was rudely thrust upon them. They decided that they want to use fire that renews to prevent fire that destroys from destroying everything in the world, in the galaxy. So, celestial vines can use their ships to expand their tendrils to adjacent systems. When a system is anchored this way, they can colonize it, or let it provide bonuses to friends. So I guess you can reach out those tendrils to friendly systems, and that will give bonuses to your allies, it looks like. The Unfallen population... what does the Unfallen population do? Let's take a quick look. They provide +5 food on fertile and +2 food generally. So they're all about growth, super growth. By the way, speaking of growth, we can see some of the things that have changed. Drone Networks now does a per planet bonus rather than a flat bonus. I mean, it still does a flat bonus, but before it was just a flat 10 of each, I believe. Now it's a 5 of each to give you that 10 boost, but it also grows with the number of planets in the system. I almost always go with these two first. These guys are happy from the Guardian on the system, from the planet type, and from democracy. They like democracy. Okay, I'm a fan of that. All right. Now let's go back to the rest of this here. They start with off-world agribusiness. This is a technology. Planetary landscaping also is something they start with. That is a very high-level tech, I believe. Allows discovery of guardians on planets. Guardians reinforce the system's defense and approval, but also provide influence to their owner and their friends while penalizing enemies. That's always good. Harmonious 2. Oh, +8 per peace. So we want to have peace and alliances with people to get lots of happiness. +10% damage per friendly major faction on ships. So we need to have friendly, peaceful relations. And we'll do better in combat. And we're resilient. Oh, this is the one. Adds an obliterator shield to your home system. I think that's a change from the mod. 75% siege damage on home system. I believe this trait was different in the base game, and the whole thing that we just talked about was adding it here. So let's take a quick look at the changes they made to the Unfallen. Nerfed the bonus from peaceful relationships a little bit. Made the rooting power of colonizer ships scale with the number of systems you own. Way faster in early and slower in late game to make your early game less painful and fix late game insta-colonization. Halved the effective game speed on power of rooting ships so they don't get more powerful very quickly. Heavily reduced the effective military quadrant stage unlocks and the price of rooting ships. In the past, your ships would cost more as you unlocked more things in military quadrant, and it got to the point where Unfallen players would have to avoid researching military techs or suffer huge economic penalties. So that was fixed in this mod. And removed the 1,000 manpower stock on the Unfallen home, replacing it with the -75% siege damage on home system. Also put the native obliterator shield on a trait for better feedback. I don't know exactly what that means, but let's pop back into the game. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold here, so I'm trying to do my best. All right. So now we know a little bit about what they're doing. We now have to figure out exactly how these celestial vines work. What we're looking for is any other lush planets. They certainly love their food growth. And that's interesting. We also started with knowledge of these black holes. I wonder why. They're not quite close to us. So I think we're going to send our scout down one of these two paths because it can use its probe to look down the other path. And we'll send our vine ship down here and hope to get lucky. Nothing yet. So we learned about the black holes. We also know about this hero. We'll take a look at the hero in just a second.
An eternity of peace has been shattered by the arrival of violent alien species upon the world of Koyasil. The people called the Unfallen have been shocked out of their ages of slumber, and their treasured ideals of harmony and unity.
All right. We know about Red Sang, probably because that's our population bonus. Yes, if we want to increase the chance of Unfallen growing, we have to use Red Sang. So that's what I finally figured out. When you come across a new minor population, you learn about the luxury resource that's they have an affinity to. When you come across another luxury resource in the world, you also learn about it. So that was very confusing to me. We're going to do some laws here in a second. First, let's see. What would be a good technology? Remember when we talked about how he added some obvious must-choose technologies to the center of the tree, which is a brilliant tree design. Can we talk about the tree design here? This technology tree design is insanely good. The design of the whole thing, the base game. But they mess up a little bit because there are certain things on this tree that you have to get every game no matter what. Command point increases. If you don't have them and your opponent does, they're going to wipe the floor with you in any conflict. Full stop. Putting these on specific technologies meant you had to take those techs every time. You had to. It was not a choice. Well, it was a choice of when you take the tech, and the answer was every time you're at war, make sure you get the ones that are closest. So he moved them. The mod maker, by the way, I didn't actually put it up here, but the mod itself, if we take a quick look here, created by Kuma, and this is the page for Enhanced Space 2. He's got his stuff here, etc., etc. So Kuma took those and put them on the center, which makes a hell of a lot more sense, because that way they get unlocked automatically by unlocking any techs that you want to get in the trees. So that having been said, we're not going to worry too much about military techs right away, but we do need to look at these deeds. If you're the first to win 10 battles, you get deployable ramparts, which is a nice boosted thing that's good for when you're sieging. Now, let's find out if he did this right, because I know he did adjust these deeds and their reward, so I know this is not vanilla. This one gives you 30 loss of manpower while sieging and 350 additional manpower, and then 150. So 350, 30, 150. Let's compare that with the one that you get for free later on here. I think it was this one? Ah, see, it's way better than that, because it comes with the extra. It's double the siege power, and it gives you a health bonus and a manpower bonus. So that's a really good module that will still be valuable probably throughout at least tier 3. Is there a better siege module? Here's one that just gives you the additional manpower. Where's another siege module? I know it's a little slow, guys. I like to look through these and understand everything. There's not a better siege module than that anywhere that I can see. That's really interesting. So winning that, here it is, heavy gear. But this doesn't even have a siege module. This is only for deploying to actually win ground battles. Here's your siege module. So the special thing about this is that while you get better siege modules eventually, like this one here, which is 40, this siege module has 3 things on it instead of just the siege part. So it's twice as good as this one, and it comes with other things. That's a very good thing. So if you go very early combat heavy, going against pirates, and if you get attacked, let's say you get overwhelmed with pirates, you can get rewarded by having this. It's pretty good. So you want to probably build up your scout ships to win a bunch of battles with early ships, or even just explore enemy scouts. set up your scouts to get better, because they don't start at their best, right? Our scout ship here is not fully decked out in combat capabilities, I don't think. Maybe it is. Sometimes the scout ships don't have everything filled in. You can add an extra thing. You could probably get rid of this and add a defensive module. And then you'd have a lot of defense modules. But that would help you win, I think, technically. You could send them out in pairs. That's another way to get that particular deed done. But anyway, we're probably not going to focus on that one, so I don't know why I'm focusing on it so much. We started with Off-World Agribusiness, which gives us Infinite Supermarkets, the Spin Project, and Xeno Synergy. Enables diplomacy with minor civilizations and the Pirate League. By the way, we start with the ability to sign peace treaties, because that was also something that was on a tech that you just needed. You just needed it. Unless you're the Cravers, you needed that tech. So putting it on, just be able to sign peace treaties right away. There's no problem with that. Where's our other tech? I think it's way up here. It's a tier 3 tech. Oh man, that's amazing. But it gives us all kinds of food bonuses, which we already have that are good, but still. The Unfallen, they want to grow. So you can see the Spin Project. Remember, water-type planets are the ones that are good at producing influence. And so the Spin Project is a specialization that boosts your water planets even more than other planet types. So what is this deed? Endless Research Park and Endless World. This one's pretty good, but you got to have titanium and Hyperium for this, which means A, you need to research these technologies over here to get it and then wait, or you need to do a lot of curiosity searching. You need to build some probe ships and send them out. Here you actually get a ton of titanium and Hyperium if you are the first to produce 250 dust in a single star system. Well, we're probably not going to get that one because we are not the Lumeris. And there's probably a couple other factions that could do that. We might consider this Endless Research Park and Endless World. That is just a really good thing if you can get it. Bonus dust and science at that level. And we know we're going to have lots of happiness if we can maintain peace treaties, so that makes this even better. We can definitely get loyal and devoted levels of happiness. So we'll keep an eye on that one. If we ever get a system that has a lot of extra production, we might consider it. But we're the first to have 8 planets colonized with our empire. Because we have so much food, this one might be really good for us. We get 250 science. That is not nothing, because right now we only get 18 per turn. So 250 is a huge number. And you can see how that is a much more balanced thing. If that was a deed you get down here, it'd be useless. So, anyway, the last one, as we mentioned, is the first to get 250 dust in a single star system. But what do? We don't have... I think we've revealed these two. We know about them, but we don't have any sources of them, so going for them doesn't make a lot of sense right now. We also don't have any luxury resources on our home planet, so that doesn't make sense either. So maybe we'll go down to the science and exploration area. This is a food specialization for our lush planet. That would be quite good. But we'd also consider a science boost for stable planets. That's not bad. We get steppes and tundra, and if we remember, steppes is a craggy type. That's for production. Tundra is a dry type. That's for dust. What do we have here? We didn't actually look at our planets. We've got a snow, which is stable. That's good for science. And another science planet here, plus a lava. That's going to take us a while to be able to inhabit, but when we do, it's going to be pretty good. And these are all medium-sized planets, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like our home system has all medium-sized planets. You can see that this one here has an extra slot because of the Unfallen, or the Guardian, rather. I think they never count towards your actual slot limit, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe they do. Hard to say. I don't remember all the numbers. All right. So we still haven't decided on a course of action here, because this is all so new. So we could unlock some ship types, just so that we'd be able to do something about that. But one thing I think I'd like is to get... This basic warp drive would improve the speed of our scout ships by 1 when we build it. And this is a very good thing for expanding quickly. If we want to get this Studier of Worlds, let's go for that. Now we're going to need some laws. We have pacifists and ecologists as our leading political parties. We have a democracy, so technically we have 3 political party slots, but we don't have a third one yet. Not enough unlocked political parties because we don't have enough people with different ideologies yet. So, trusted broker plus 5% diplomatic cost reduction per turn, so we could do like peace deals and things with people more cheaply, and reduced inflation on empire per turn up to 30%. Those could be useful more later. We definitely want new colony rule, I think. Bonus food on all systems, and 20 food on all systems, and 20 happiness. I thought that was what 20 food on outposts, but that's 20 food on systems. And 25 happiness for 30 turns when acquiring a new colony. That's pretty good. Let's pass that law, and we'll leave the other slot open for now. And I think we're done with our starting move here, except we have got to check out our hero. So, Unfallen heroes will have additional skills that revolve around sustenance and influence of their planets and fleets. He's a seeker, which means we might want to add him to a patrol ship. Focuses on exploration of the galaxy and scientific wisdom. The seeker ship is balanced between weapon and support modules for better surviving unknown regions. He could be pretty good at that task. Let's take a quick look at the... Obviously, Cosmic Castaway is a great thing if you ever want someone to be an admiral. Just having them constantly improve the quality of your fleets over time is great. Optimal Operations Expert. This is the common pool, right? These are always the same. And that is a great starting thing. If you're going to put somebody in your capital where it's going to have a high population, this is a pretty nice thing to have. And these are seeker-specific skills. Bonus science on systems. And these are specific unfallen skills. Ooh, that's interesting. They can make very strong fleets based on the unlocked command points. That's not useful yet, but man, would it be useful later. Ooh, plus 7% food on a system. I think we've got to make this guy the governor of our homeworld and allow that to just triple down on our food production. That's what we're going to do. We might change him to patrol guy later, but for now, he's going to the homeworld. And while he's there, what are the first 2 things he can do here? Is he provides plus 15 dust on system. That basically makes up for his cost in upkeep. Actually, he doesn't have any upkeep because he's level 1, or he has very little upkeep. He only has 5 upkeeps. Okay. End turn. For the first time, we're moving forward here. What do we find? Wow, this is really far away. And we found a really terrible little planet with a single huge lava. Ick! Right? It's got an atmospheric curiosity. Tell me it's got some food there. Whoa. Interesting. Oh, the vines. Is that our vine ship? Come on. And a good anomaly? Oh, poor soil. It's even worse than it looked. Oh, no. So bad. Alright, well, let's probe something here. Because there might be something out there in space, and I'd like to know about it. Actually, no, we've got 2 choices here. Let's do this. Okay, so we know we're going to the same place over here that's connected to our homeworld. So let's learn about that. Oops, I gotta fix something here. I actually have created a... Oh, it's on pause, that's why. So if we unpause it, there we go. I have actually created a... What is it? Auto hotkey script, so that if I press the tilde button, watch where my mouse goes. Oh, no? There it goes, sorry. If I press the Q button, it automatically goes down and clicks on the Move Ships button, and then I have another button on my mouse to automatically go and cycle through idle ships. Because, what the hell? Why are these 3 things not hotkeyable? There's a whole bunch of control keys you can set. You can't set these 3 buttons. I'm actually going to add one for end turn as well, because I hate reaching over to the enter key all the time, or going down here to click. But right now we still haven't found anything new, so we're going to continue to move on. That probe continues to go out, so I'm going to hit Q. Look at that! A huge system, and we already know how to colonize 2 of those planets. A large atoll. I love it. And a Guardian Curiosity. Huge monsoon! This is the perfect system! Huge steps! My god, the population possibilities are massive! Oh, it's only a tiny snow planet. That's too bad. But it's got a dust nebula on it. A huge ice! Oh man, you know what the problem is here? There's... well, Steppes is actually a craggy system. I was thinking this didn't have a lot of production, but Steppes is a craggy type. So it does give some decent guidance there. So, here we go. Implant Beacon will summon a vine from an adjacent entwined system. The vine ship must stay in position until the vine reaches the system. Okay. I'm summoning a vine. So we'll see how long that takes. Our system growth is insane, by the way. We're going to need to colonize one of these other systems real quick. Lava, snow, or ice before our homeworld just overpopulates. So what are our good options here? Steppe, tundra. We're going to get snow, so that'll give us an option there. And now we have one ship down here, which we'll explore a curiosity here in Talitha. Small ash planet. Small Savannah. Savannah's one of the sort of middle ones, I think. Oh, no, Savannah's a dry planet. That's right. Large Mediterranean is good. Good for food production. Actually, it's an influence production planet. See, it's got 4 influence and 3 food. That's a water-based, but influence is great. Oh, but this small Savannah has a long season. Not so good for that. But let's check out this large Mediterranean, which has a poor deposit of titanium, unfortunately. But titanium's still good. Ooh, we found a Guardian. Even better. Okay. But in order to get there, we have to... Oh, no, we can go straight there. We don't have to go through Lena. I was worried we'd have to go through Lena, which would be really terrible. Okay. So that's good. We've got this guy here that's slowly earning XP. Oh, and you know, we'll soon be able to specialize this. Oh, now we can with alien grafting, which will add +3. Oh, this is a super. That's right. Okay, remember, we started as the Unfallen with a super advanced food-based technology. This technology, by the way, these things, specifically the intensive cultivation and the intensive cultivation. Oh, cultivation logistics versus intensive cultivation unique improvement. These 2 things used to be located way sooner on the tree. They were like up here, I think. And they were really easy to get to. And on most factions, it was just a no-brainer to always build these on your homeworld to allow you to colonize things very quickly. Right? Now, they cost a lot of expensive resources. The unique one, specifically, it costs 30 Hyperium and 10 antimatter, I think that is. That's going to be hard to come by very early in the game. So I can't just build this immediately and have a massive boost to my colonization efforts and colonize super fast. I like that. I like that a lot, that this was moved to this tree. It makes colonization a lot more thought-provoking. In addition, the intensive cultivation logistics also can't be built immediately because it costs really a lot. So what did we actually get for getting this first? We got this thing right here. This alien grafting, which is actually much better than the evolved soils. We didn't even have to go to evolved soils, but at least it'll give us the snow that we wanted. But alien grafting is great. It's going to give us an extra 6 food per pop on this forest planet that we call our home. I kind of want to stay here at Talitha and look through these other curiosities, but I think I just want to keep exploring the galaxy first. We'll build more probe ships to do more curiosity exploration. And in fact, let's look back at that again. Was there nothing we'd want to change about this design? I think the only change I would make is I would give some shields in addition to some... Yeah. So now we're going to add a probe ship to the list and send that to our brand new colony. so we can learn about it. And maybe put another one on there. We don't need infinite supermarkets. I mean, it would make us, like, even more happy and stuff, but we're already pretty good on this. And I kind of want these things. Drone networks will significantly increase our... We're going to have to adjust that later, I think. Ooh. Yeah, we like this growth concept. Look, another 5-planet system. Savannah's dust heavy. Atoll is water-based, so it's influence heavy. Forest is food. Whoa! Whoa! 2 great anomalies! Oh, and then an ocean with a bad anomaly. That sucks. And then a Terran. This is influence and food city over here. This is a system I have to get to. Gotta get to it. Let's take a look at this. Garden of Eden. +1 of everything and happiness and an extra population slot. Meaning this can hold 9 people. That's insane! 9 people? Now, it has very low industry. Do we have any craggy things here? No, Savannah. Yeah, industry is definitely a weak spot of this system, but with so many planets, they might just make up for it in volume. And then mutated flora gives us even more food here. So we are gonna get one of them vine ships on the queue. Obviously, I'm not gonna be waiting 61 turns for this. We're gonna hope that we grow fast enough that that gets significantly reduced. Or we might have to adjust things as we go. To that end, I might consider interplanetary transport network. We don't have any strategic deposits, so this really isn't going to give us a lot on our home system, unfortunately. This is the one we'd want, right here. Xeno-industrial infrastructure, but that's going to take 5 titanium to build. We don't have any. Yep. He did certainly make the industry stuff that I would always beeline to a lot more expensive and less automatic. So I'm definitely appreciative of that. Let's look at some more of these curiosities. Maybe we'll find some loot. Oh man, I'm crossing my fingers because... Oh, this is a Guardian curiosity. It can only be good for us, right? It'll awaken a Guardian on the planet. There we go. So now there's a Guardian there, which we can't see at all. But I want all these other ones to be good. This one's like neutral. Seismic activity, we'll be able to fix that later. So what's the status on this? Do we get to see anything about this? Turns remaining 10 turns to get the vines reaching out. I wonder if that's because of the distance. It might very well be. Look how fast this system is growing, though. We're going to hit overpopulation real soon. And what I'd like to do is get this lava planet so that we have more production here on our home world. That's a tough call, though. Okay, solo quest started. Fire and light. We awoke ages ago. The first of us came to life fully conscious, as if from one day to the next, the dawn changed us. We did not know ourselves with this, however, for ages. We simply grew and thought, listening to the heart, and learning about our world. Koyasil. We sunk our roots deep into the soil to see what lay beneath. We gaze at the stars and track the passage across the sky. Why seek anything else? What is more required of life? Then these others came, bringing their conflicts and their violence, driving us into self-doubt and confusion. To ask, where did they come from, is a brief step away from asking, and where did we come from? We hear the murmurs of the heart, and it soothes us. It speaks to us in serenity and strength. But the old reassurances are no longer enough. They fade with the old vision of the universe. It seems we are one small clod of dirt in an unthinkably vast galaxy. And now we must raise up our limbs, shake out our roots, and look beyond Koyasil. Some say we do not need to look outward. We have Koyasil and the heart. and they will protect and guide us. Some say the new technology, or the new knowledge, is critical to our future. That the violence and aggressive science of the others must be controlled. I do not back either side in this debate. I would not see us limited to Koyasil, nor would I see us enslaving the others. Possess 2 anomalies in your empire to get a random technology, or possess 3 new star systems to get dark glitter. I think this one's going to be much more likely than that one to happen soon, and these main quests are pretty important, so let's make that happen. 2 anomalies is what we need to possess. Let's see. If we do, in fact, there's a signal anomaly here that we can't get yet. But if we get these 2 unlocked, does that mean that we possess it, but even though we haven't colonized it? Probably not. But, over here, we would likely colonize the best food planet first, the huge monsoon planet, which has a bunch of probably anomalies here that we can get. It's a signal, an atmospheric, and a guardian. So we'll find out soon enough. Let's check out another one over here. This medium Terran, a life form. Maybe it's a minor faction that will send its population point back to us. Or maybe it's nothing. We found nothing. Too bad. I'm actually going to send this guy on his way. There's a lot more to discover over here, but I need to keep looking. We need to find out what this world is all about. This is Endless Space 2, which, yes, it's a 4X strategy game, so it's similar to Civilization in Space, so it's closer to Endless Legacy and Endless Legend in Space, since it was made by the same company and with the same IP. It is a lot different than Stellaris, I would say. Let's see, we finished researching that. Oh, and actually we've unlocked a new technology stage. I love finding that happening, because we reveal and enable the use of wormholes. I don't know if we found any of those. We have nano repair bots module and a basic warp drive. So we've unlocked this stage 2, which means we've unlocked a new deed. Be the first to explore 50% of the galaxy. We've explored 5% so far, and we're in 3rd place. And if we get it, we get the spin-off incubator, which is an Empire improvement, 5 dust for every science building in the Empire. That's pretty good. I could go for a science victory with these guys. They like peace, and they like science. We've also unlocked this one. I forgot to check this one. Be the first to unlock the 3rd population collection bonus level within your empire. So we grow our population very quickly to earn that one. So now we got to choose a new tech. I kind of want to find the lava planet. Oh, it's way up there. Colonize lava? Ugh. We're not going to be able to colonize that lava for a very long time. But then, what do we need to get here? Mediterranean planets? Would be the one to start with here. It's not a lot of food, but it is still a water-type planet that gives us a little bit of food. So, let's see where we can get Mediterranean. Is that it? Yes. Mediterranean and swamp planets are colonizable if we get adaptive bureaucracies. So let's do that. The Pulsos. We found a new minor civilization. Aha! And these guys, the Harmony, a species of sentient crystal, traverses the universe seeking its mystical core. So are these Pulsos or Harmony? Harmony, while most Harmony strive to pass beyond the dust-tainted galaxy and continue their quest, the Pulsos are a dust-infected subgroup that have decided to stay and study the mysterious phenomenon. Huh. So, these guys are temperate. Temperates are naturally easy to befriend and will work by themselves towards getting along with everyone. Wow! They are A mercantile civilization who believes that money can solve more problems than it causes. Temperate factions provide more dust than other factions, and yeah, they love peace with us. Look at this. They're giving us a huge bonus right off the bat, but if we wanted to praise them again, it's going to cost us a lot. So they're going to get us right up to the second collection bonus here, but then we have to do our best to keep them on our side. All right. Well, that's a nice one to find early on. We look like we are the first ones to have found them. We're going to stick around here and reveal one curiosity to help give us a little boost to the happiness value. The minor civilizations like it when you help explore the mysteries of their system. They are now cordial with us. That's good, as we expected. The Academy has been discovered by an unknown empire. The Academy is a special place where heroes learn how to use this dust to massively improve their capabilities. So this system has an ash... They're colonized on an ash planet, which is interesting. That's a craggy type. Good for industry. They got a swamp planet with Hyperium. And a tundra planet. And, wow, there's a lot of, actually, a lot of curiosities we can discover here. High chance of anomaly, low chance of loot. Let's research that one. We found Eden Essence. A poor deposit of it, but a deposit nonetheless, which gives us 35 of it. And, if we look here, it makes them like us a little more, because we revealed a curiosity. They will continue to like us. For a few more turns, they will continue to improve their relation with us. We could praise them to make it go even faster. Right now, they're giving us some dust and science and manpower. Bump it up for 15 turns, we'll get a +1. And we'll wait. No, let's keep searching with our scout here. We now know about Eden Essence. Thank you very much. So you can see the vine slowly growing out over here. Now, are we to imagine that that is actually a physical vine? I think it's like a light speed mental connection going like this, or above light speed. That's how I see it. What do you guys think? Because physical vines crossing that distance would be absolutely ridiculous in terms of size and length and everything. Our hero has leveled up. We can make them better at food and industry on our home planet. Our home system. We're spearing off into the galaxy. Now this is the Volans... what do they call these? Constellation. It will increase our dust collection if we control the majority of systems in the constellation. Right now that's 3. We need 3 systems to control the constellation. Ooh, we found a new minor civilization. These guys here. 4-armed warrior monks. An arid system, a steppe, and a gas planet. Now, these guys, because they're pragmatists, they provide more science than other factions, and they kind of are like, hey, what do you do for us that we should care about so much? They cost a lot to keep on your side. I think I'm not going to try to get... They're pretty far away from me, too. So I'm not going to spend the influence to try to get them to like me. We've already got one good faction. If we didn't, then I might do something. But we're going to keep probing our way through here. And check and see if there's a planet sort of residing in this middle area that we can't see. Ooh, there's a system. Borders. That we can see here. I wonder who that is. Go meet a new faction. Now this thing's finally almost finished the cerebral reality. And if you recall, we have this problem of overpopulation we're going to have to fix. Now we can actually colonize this snow planet. And I'm going to need to move that up the chain. so that we have some place to put all this new population. This is now 4 turns away from being able to finally colonize Oshiashi. Ooh, we found a new system, Deneb. Also 5 planets, that's great. But it looks like this is right in somebody else's wheelhouse already. We're going to wait here a turn and send a probe this way so we can see what is over there. Looks like somebody else's homeworld. Alright, our probes have refueled. Restocked. There we go. The Endless Society developed this large, cool planet orbiting a star they called Prime. Though it is the birthplace of the culture that dominated the galaxy for centuries. The Endless is an ancient race that died out that we're still exploring the ruins of. That's part of the lore of the game. They were forced to depart when overexploitation destabilized the core and crust, triggering seismic changes. Though it is a treasure of artifacts and holds a near mystical reputation, its history is one of sorrow.
The Oregon Confederacy seeks only knowledge and a true place to call home.
Alright, so we found the Oregians. And is this their home world? Yes, it's their home world. Tor, unique planet. Or no, it's not their homeworld. It's just unique planet that they've colonized. So their homeworld is somewhere attached to this. They moved one of their colony ships over here to get access to it quickly. I think they moved their home system to this unique system. Because I'm pretty sure their home system has like a frozen planet on it to represent what happened at the end of Endless Legend. Alright, so now we can colonize that Mediterranean planet if we need to. Where do we go from here? Does that Mediterranean planet does have titanium, so we're going to want to get access to that. And yet, having better probes would be nice, except we don't have titanium yet, so we can't do that. Maybe we could get better science specializations? This would help us in our snow system that we're building in our homeworld, so let's do that. It'll also let us get steppes and tundra type planets. I kind of want to bring this scout back, but we're building new ones, so let's just take advantage of that. Hey, Big Chunk. I'm actually thinking of bringing it back, not Tales of Heroes specifically, but doing a lot more with Steel Division 2 when it comes out. I kind of wanted to do it with Steel Division 1, but at the time I had a lot of other things going on in life, and so I didn't have time to really devote to Steel Division 1, and so I was awful. I could try to do better. And man, I just love the concept of Steel Division. It's a clear sort of well, I mean, it's Eugen, so it's their sort of big overarching system, but it's like it's like the logical next step of like a Company of Heroes style game. We desperately need to get our vines out to Talitha. If you never checked out Steel Division, I think if you like Company of Heroes, you will absolutely love Steel Division. You're probably familiar with Eugen's other games. You know what I just noticed? We don't appear to have a circle of influence as the Unfallen. I wonder why. Huh. Isn't that a little weird? Like, these other systems, they all have, these other factions have this circle of influence. But Steel Division is just like Eugen's other games, including War Game, European Escalation, and then there was also the first World War II one they did was Ruse, which was a really cool concept that I don't think was executed very well. Alright, we're getting alien grafting, so our homeworld's just going to grow like frickin' crazy. Meanwhile, our science output, because we've got a new guy on this, is great. And we definitely talked about specializing that planet for science later. But instead of... well, you'd have to look into it. It's very difficult to explain how Steel Division works without actually showing it off and playing it, which I might do at some point in the future, but I'm waiting for Steel Division 2. Steel Division is a World War II version of that system. They returned to World War II for Steel Division, and it is very well thought out, in my opinion. Ooh, a Molten Springs anomaly. That's a good one. Too bad we're nowhere near it. Ooh. Signals from this system indicate that it was once inhabited, yet all that remains are docile, roaming quadrupeds. They are well-fed, somewhat chubby, and relatively friendly. So what in the stars are they? I don't think we need more food. I think we do want some more happiness, because we're pretty good on happiness, but this will boost us even to the highest levels. And if you look here, we're now at ecstatic, which is a system-level approval. If you're really happy in a given system, it improves your influence and food output, as you can see at the very bottom of this thing here. However, if your empire is really happy, then everything in the empire increases dust and science production. So those two are in different places. Individual systems can get better food or influence, but if your empire overall is very happy, then that gives you other things. All right, so we've now got the ability to colonize this. How does this work now? Right? The vines have finished. No, one more turn to finish entwining the system. We can see it's almost done. All right, so where's our scout? Do we want to wait and get these last few curiosities? I think we do. Because curiosities could give us loot. They could give us titanium or hyperium or other things. All right, so we've got the ability to colonize more things. Man, there's so many good things. I don't know where to go quite with this, except extra free happiness for when that other one wears off isn't bad. Colonizing ice would also help our home planet system. But I think we also kind of want to start going into the dust situation. We don't want to ever wind up in a situation where our dust starts going negative. So we got to preemptively look into that. Finally, pirates are going to pop up sometime soon. Let's unlock some combat ship types. We have entwined Oshii. Let's see how this works. Oh, speaking of pirates, here they come, sneaky bastards. We can colonize any of these planets now. I think we want the one that gives us the most food, which I think is going to be this monsoon planet. 5 versus 4. But it gives us more science. What about production? 3 is 3. Okay, and the monsoon gives us 9. This gives us 7. This is going to be the place to start. Also, it's got all these anomalies that could be good things. Unfortunately, we just don't know. So trying to explore them is a little bit dangerous. Oh, we learned about the psychoactive air already. Just by colonizing it, we learned about the atmospheric anomaly. Psychoactive air is unfortunately good and bad. We lose a little science from it, but we gain some happiness and dust. Saturated by complex chemical compounds, life on this planet becomes interesting indeed if one does not breathe through a filter. Though the inevitable wandering thoughts make serious scientific research a bit difficult, it cannot be denied that everyone who lives here is really, really happy. All right. So we've got this monsoon planet, which is a lush mild. Alien grafting will help us to the tune of a lot of extra food here. But that'll take a little too long. So let's get drone networks, then cerebral reality to improve our dust and science production. Right now, it's at negative 18 dust. You can see why I want to start researching dust improvements, because this 83 ain't going to last long if we keep sending these colonizing ships out. New systems are usually a big drain on your dust. So we're going to send the Vine ship over here. It's going to take a while to get there. Oh, Endless Space 2 is definitely better than Endless Space 1, I think. It's really interesting. Here's a really interesting concept that I've never seen explored in a 4X before, right? Everything you do, from colonizing to building things to fighting to choosing different options in your various trees. Like we had that thing pop up that said, you know, how do you want to treat these animals? As food or as... I don't think we actually chose that. Where did that go? That's weird. Anyway, all of those things promote different political ideologies. And there are 6 of them. Industrialists, scientists, pacifists, ecologists, religious, and militarists. So everything you do is filtered through these lenses, and the pops that you have on your planet, much like Stellaris, the pops that you have on your planet take on a particular political ideology. So we can see here that we have 2 pacifist representatives and 1 ecologist representative. Which is weird because we have way more than that. Pacifist, 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 and pacifist. We actually have 5 pacifists on here. I think this political sensitivity here is based on an old poll, perhaps. Or no, political sensitivity. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, this, never mind. Pacifist is based on the faction type. But so everything you do is filtered this. So if I build infinite supermarkets, that's a religious boost. If I build vine ships, that's an ecologist boost. Colonizing things is ecology. Exploration is science. Building this research park is a religious thing. So you can see different buildings give you different things. And so all of that is then filtered through your faction's population. So in this case, my Unfallen faction type, the one that I started, my main population type, when an event normally increases industrialist support, the Unfallen reduces it by half. But when something would normally increase ecologist support, Unfallen will also increase pacifist ideology. And what that does is, after a certain amount of time, there's elections. And your government can change the leading political parties. These are from the last election. The next election is in 13 turns, and you can see how things have changed over time. Because of our actions, pacifist is still mostly the most powerful, and then these other 2 are also represented, science and ecologist. If we get in a big war and I start mass producing military ships, then our military representation is going to start skyrocketing, and that has an impact on your society in the form of active laws. Because the pacifists are the dominant political ideology from the last election, which was the very beginning of the game, then this pinned law is always available to us. See how it's got a pin in the corner? It means that your highest majority always gets their pinned law put into place when they come into power. And then other laws are available to us based on the political parties in power and based on their skill, their experience. The longer the pacifists stay in power, the more of these laws they unlock. They unlock. So make love, not war is only available when they've won a certain number of political campaigns. And then My Precious requires them to be entrenched, and Fair Trade Bill is the most potent version, but it requires them to have won a whole bunch of campaigns in order to become available. So as you go through the game, the type of play that you engage in unlocks laws that help you in that type of play. It's a really cool idea, and it's fleshed out pretty well at this point in this game. Hello, Valtier. Welcome. Hello, Zoltan. I think if you like Stellaris, this is a very interesting game that can also be something that you enjoy. I have a whole guide to Endless Space 2, just like I did for Stellaris, that goes through all of these systems. So I don't want to go through all of them. This is a playthrough. I don't want to bore people who already know what's going on. Now, my scout ship here has a couple of probes. We can use one of these probes to do an expedition on one of these curiosities. Let's see if we can't find. Oh, it was a trap! Pirates are here! Uh-oh. Can we escape them? Let's just try and leave. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. We escaped them with that scout ship. Alright. Pacifists, actually, the benefits they provide are usually economic and diplomatic. If we take a quick look at that again. So right thing rule allows you to force peace when you're at Cold War with an empire. So it basically, in this game, if you're not familiar, you all start at Cold War with everybody. Cold War means you can move through their territory and attack their ships, but cannot attack their planets. Oh, you can attack their systems, but you can't invade their planets, I don't think. When you're at war, you can invade planets. So attacking systems means blockading them. So Cold War is like this nebulous in-between status. They're not going to invade your planets and take them over, but they will blow up your ships and blockade your systems if they come in, because you're not officially at peace. But getting to peace costs influence. I love the diplomatic system in this game, by the way. All influence is useful for a lot of things, including your own internal politics, but and politics with minor factions. If you recall, we can get a lot of bonuses by boosting up. That's a pirate faction. By boosting up. Right now, we're gaining a lot of things by having a good diplomatic relationship with these pulses. We have an economic relationship with them. I can praise them to make that go even faster to a higher level where we get more options with them. So that's one use of my diplomatic power. I can also use it to tell the pirates, hey, don't go after me. Go after somebody else. That's actually, I use dust for that. But you can also sabotage them so that their next fleet comes weaker, and that's another use of your diplomatic power. Or you can use diplomatic power to try and get these treaties through. It's not like in Civ where you can just, well, as long as I give them enough stuff, they'll give me the treaty. No, even if they like the thing you're proposing. Let's see if they like this or not. They don't like this peace thing because they want to probably be able to prevent me from exploring into their areas. And they probably don't have trade. We're not close enough to have trade set up. So peace is very valuable if you can set up trade routes with these other factions. It can be very beneficial to both sides. But, until you're close enough for that to happen, peace can be bad if you've got a superior advantage. Anyway, we can force them to peace by spending a little more influence. That's the benefit of being the pacifist faction. We can bring such good negotiation to bear, give them such good reasons to be at peace with us. We can force them to the peace table. Now, they can still declare war, right? We can't force them to peace when we're at war, but in Cold War situations, we can show them how beneficial it is. All right, we're going to wait here and try to uncover this curiosity with this probe. All right. Now, I was thinking about getting a second Vine ship, but now I'm not so certain. Because I don't think, if we put a Vine ship, well, hey, we can't there now. There's pirates, right? That's unacceptable. Those bastards. Okay. Well, we're learning about astrofinance so that we can get enough dust to support the military fleet we're about to unlock here, right? That's what we're going to do. And after we've unlocked the military ship types, we also want to unlock new and better shields and things like that. So probably, probably let's get the big data shipyards. This improves the quality of the fleets that we build. So that's the third on our agenda. And that's going to come very quickly. 5 turns is nothing. We're getting a lot of good science right now. So let's take the Vine ship off the queue. Hopefully by the time these are done, we'll have some decent military vessels we can start building to deal with these pirates. Because there's also pirates over in this direction, and I don't know too much about that. But yeah, we need a lot more scout ships. Can we improve our scout ships? We unlocked a new type of probe, didn't we? Oh, we did, I think. But I'm pretty sure it requires titanium, or we came close to doing it. Yeah, here's a probe that requires Hyperium. We don't have any of those resources yet. All right. We can now... 31 turns? Wow. What makes that cost more, I wonder? What is the duration based on? Somebody's got to know. I wonder if it's based on our system growth, because it's an instant colonization. One of the really cool things I like, by the way, about the way colonization works for most of the factions in this game is you send a colony ship somewhere, right? and you say, I want to colonize this thing. And it starts as an outpost. The outpost is very weak. It costs you money, and it takes a long time to grow on its own, but it automatically sends food from one of your planets to that outpost in civilian ships, just automatic ships that automatically get sent. So it siphons off population growth from one of your bigger central planets to send it to the outermost planet. It's a really, really well-developed system that makes so much sense narratively and gameplay-wise too. So if you build a single system that has massive growth, huge amounts of food, you can use that as the place that all of your colony ships' food transport comes from. You're sending colonists out to this new world. And if those colonists are interfered with, those colony ships, like those food ships, if those shipments are interfered with by, say, pirates or enemies who are at cold war with you, they get blown up. They don't make it there. So you can't just send a colony ship and have a colony grow by itself. It takes time, and usually, if you don't get those food ships through, like if I tried to colonize something like way over here, and there's pirates in the way, that I could do it. I could slip the colony ship by, but if pirates pop up here and block all my food shipments, that colony over there takes like 30, 40 turns to grow. It takes a very long time. Now, I'm playing as the Unfallen, which are these crazy plant guys, and they actually physically intertwine these planets, so I didn't have to go through that. Instead, it's already colonized here, but it took a long time. It's some kind of Groot race. Yes, it's like Groot / Ents from the from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. In fact, there was a thing called Entwine. Entwine value 100. Oh, Entwine. Entwine value is 100%. Not Entwine, but Entwine. As in, we are entwining these things. So 31 turns. Ooh. And look, we found a new system. Medium swamp planet with a bunch of curiosities that could give us some bonuses. Swamp and monsoon. Those are food-based planets. And a Terran planet. Oh, but it's got a long season anomaly. That's too bad. And another monsoon. This is another super food planet. It's going to grow like crazy. And if I recall correctly, on this side of the tech tree, there are buildings that can directly convert your food into other resources. But I don't remember exactly where those are. I guess we'll find them later. This lets you do something else. What is this one? Bonus to happiness, extra laws and politics. Maybe it's actually on this tree this time. Guy could have moved it around. Wow, this one gives you plus 30 food per planet and plus 20% food. Crazy. Is it this? Yes, here it is. Super Biofuel Factory. Food is converted to production when population's maxed out. So that planet, or that system, could be very good for this purpose. Or we could just terraform it later if we need to. So that's pretty good. All right. Meanwhile, we've unlocked Economy and Trade Level 2, which unlocks a new deed for us. Be the first to possess 20 star system improvements in your empire. I've got 5. Improvements are the buildings that you build inside the star system. So each of the things here is a star system improvement. It has that symbol of a building in a circle there. And you can see I've already built 2 right here. These 2 are default. They don't count, I don't think. Maybe they do, actually, since it said we had 5. Yeah, I guess they do count. The colony base counts as a star system improvement. So we need to build a lot more buildings, I guess. Including xenotourism agencies, which is really good if we have a luxury deposit on the planet. Unfortunately, we don't. There might be a luxury deposit here. No, it looks like Anomaly is the most likely outcome there. Lifeform has a chance of a luxury deposit on the ice planet here. No luxuries over here either. At least no starting luxuries. Oh, there's a signal. Researching that could be bad for us, like the psychoactive air was, but we might have to do it anyway. It could be a trap. And we can actually explore it right here without having to spend a probe, but let's see. We've also got the planetary specialization. Dry planets are now extra good if we specialize them. This is still going to increase our dust income, right? But look at this. It has an upkeep of 2. So you have to have at least 2 pops before this even starts paying for itself. But this will produce 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dust for us. And it'll cost us 2. So it's a net of +5. If we got nothing else to build, this is probably a good thing to build. But I think we're going to start pumping out military units soon to deal with those pirates. By the way, yes, the art is beautiful, the game is gorgeous, and the interface is amazing, like all of Amplitude's games. I cannot recommend their games enough. Endless Legend is also phenomenal. I should play it more, honestly. Alright, so we've got some probes here we can use to uncover Guardians. I don't know if we want to uncover Guardians on on systems where we're not going to colonize them. Guardians are a special thing that's sort of unique to our faction. I don't know too much about them. Let's explore this one first real quick. Fearful Symmetry. This planet's features exhibit a bilateral symmetry that is unnatural for its mathematic precision. One can only speculate as to what lies underneath the outer layers to cause this. So that's a beneficial anomaly. But let's take a quick look. We do have a Guardian, the Unfallen faction that I'm playing. Start with a Guardian on their home planet, this guy here. Born from the dormant seeds of some ancient entity, Guardians thrive on planets where they are keepers of the forest and proponents of peace. So these are like the Hurons, right? They're different from the Unfallen themselves. And we can find them all over the place. And they are hugely useful. They do 200 damage to the attacker during ground battles, so if somebody tries to invade us, they're super good on defense. They give us a little bit of extra happiness, and they give us a huge amount of influence if the owner is friendly with factions that have Guardians. Since I'm kind of usually the only faction that has Guardians, it's a good sort of prod. If there's a Guardian on your world, you want to be friendly with the Unfallen. Otherwise, they get pissed and lower your influence. So the Sacred Harvest is a way to get rid of Guardians. More than a rite of construction, this event accepts the voluntary sacrifice of a Guardian in order to improve the morale of the system population. Full of the sonorous language of the Unfallen, ancient rites of fire, and clouds of smoke and dust, it is as impressive and moving as it is encouraging and renewing. Fire is present as a symbol of both death and life, and dust. I guarantee you the Cravers have to have a different benefit for the Sacred Harvest, right? The Cravers don't care at all about that. They just eat everything. They'll eat a Guardian. They're not going to make it a sacred rite of passage and blah, blah, blah. No, that's not going to be how it is. But let's see. Implant Beacon. I'm doing a quick Google search for how Unfallen Entwine Speed works. 10 divided by the number of entwiners rounded down. Would that make groups of 5 better? Huh. Ew, interesting. So if I get a second entwiner and send it to the same place, then that's a good reason to build that vine ship we were worried about. Let's put that after those guys there. So it'll speed this one up. Entwine value, 3% so far. And it looks like that's something that he scaled, because I think it used to be different, or at least a year ago it was. Maybe the official patch changed things too. Other people are asking similar questions. It's a static 20 turn capture node. You can stack vine ships to speed it up. 20 is something for like super long games maybe, I don't know. Anyway, we'll keep going. Back to being able to see what you guys are saying. There we go. So we've got this ship over here. We can sneak through this area and explore more of the galaxy. We can't get to these systems that are disconnected so far. We have to get actually to science level 3, I believe, before we can get there. Or is it 4? 4. We have to get science tier 4 to unlock that. How are we doing on this? 8 planets colonized. We're getting there. So these collapsing systems with no planets in them, give you bonuses if your influence circle goes over them. We'll start looking there. We've got a new probe. A new questioner. We've unlocked new military class ships, hulls. And we've got a new political survey. So based on what I've done so far, 62% support pacifists, then ecologists, then scientists, then industrials come in last. So we'll see how that works out. Luna Burzes has gained enough experience to reach level 3. So our hero is currently governing our capital. Do we want to increase... Yeah, I think we want to increase even more production and food on the capital. Plus 15 science on the system. It's pretty good too. But yeah, this will make any system we send this hero to a lot better at getting started. The +2 per pop of each is pretty good. You can also have heroes work as your... as your admirals for your fleets, where they give bonuses in combat and such. So we've got our new probe ship here, which we're going to start immediately getting some of these things on our home areas. We got to learn about these anomalies. We found nothing! Oh, that sucks. Alright, what about this lava planet? A strong magnetic field. Oh, that's just a detrimental anomaly. That's too bad. It's going to take us a long time before we can do something about that with science. And I think we're going to leave this guy here and then send them down to get the curiosities that are in that direction. Did you get a probe back? No, not yet. This guy... Oh, he made it all the way over here. He's found some new curiosities to search. I don't pay attention as much to the systems as far as what's in them when I am very far away from being able to get them. Ooh, a permanent monsoon. Great for food, bad for everything else. Okay. There's a guardian. We'll keep him there. Another population gained, this time down here. Wow, lots of food income here. Oh, it's that new colony rule that's helping us out a lot, that law. 12.3 from Ecstatic. And we're about to finally get an extra 10 industry. Oh, let's check that out. So once you get to 10 Unfallen, it increases your pacifist ideology a little bit. Once you get to 20, you get plus 15% influence when you have Unfallen present there. When you get to 50, you get plus 50% ownership recovery rate on the systems. A battle at Talitha? My Vine ship, no! Uh-oh. Can it survive? Let's take a quick look at its actual stats here. A Vine beacon, huh? Its role is Entwiner. So it's got 2 projectile defense systems. Excuse me. So let's find out, what does this pirate got for attack? It's attacking with only energy. So yeah, that's not great. I don't have any shield absorption. I think we got to run away. I don't think we want to take any chances with this pirate ship blowing up our vine ship. But we have finished our military research, and we are now ready to start building our first fleets. And one of the things we could do... we don't have any titanium or Hyperium yet. That's a pain. We should start unlocking these for when we do get access to them, though. And now, let's go build us some ships, huh? The Needle is our attacker ship. The role of this ship is to inflict massive damage in short and medium range on the enemy. Primary targets is protector and coordinator ships. Secondary targets are carrier ships. They get a bonus to focus fire with the flotilla to quickly eliminate ships. So each of these guys will focus on a single enemy, and it gets bonuses to its weapons. Yeah, I think we do probably want to get some basic ultra-dense slugs going on in here. They have bonuses when they are very close. They do more damage. So I think we're going to stick with that. And then we know that the enemy pirates have energy weapons. So we're going to use some shields to give an energy defense bonus here. Finally, we want to take the basic warp drive. Oh, it's already added there. Okay. That's fine. And let's check the well. We can't rename the default ones, unfortunately. Ooh. That's an interesting thing. Alright, so this one is going to have to be with a lot of different other types. We're going to give them plasma beams, because they're optimal no matter what range they're at. So this support ship can go anywhere it needs to go, is what it comes down to. Meanwhile, we're going to, again... try to balance our defense between energy and projectile. And finally, we have an open slot to put in a support module. Well, these ships are protectors. They attract enemy fire to protect it from the other ships, and they also get a plus 10% on their plating and shields. So it makes sense that we're going to want to put nano repair bots to increase their health and to allow them to repair damage, since they're the ones that are going to be taking the most damage every time. So now that we've done that, we're in a position to start queuing them up. So, 1, 2... I like 3 and 1 for a combat fleet. Man, it's going to take 30 turns to finish them, though. I think we need to put a couple of them ahead of the Vine ship, so that they're at least able to go fend off those few pirates there. What's there to gain from attacking pirates? If you don't take out this pirate base, A, you can't colonize there. B, it grows stronger over time and produces bigger and bigger fleets. So we have to deal with these pirates. Otherwise, they'll keep coming through and messing with our plans. It's a way to ensure that you don't just completely ignore military. Alright, that's good. So we've unlocked a new military stage, and the deed here is to be the first empire to have 2,000 manpower capacity. So one of the ways that we can do that, manpower isn't something we talked about so far on this stream yet, but it's another really cool concept here, is that you can't just build infinite ships. You have to have people to fill those ships. Right now, our empire capacity, we have an extra 689 manpower in the Empire that's not currently delegated somewhere, and 32 a turn. The minor civilizations are sending us some manpower, and we're also getting 20 per turn from the excess food that we're building. But you can see we have a capacity of 800 on the Empire. That's above and beyond the fact that we can fit 200 in each colony by default, I believe. Yeah. So the manpower is actually the defense value of this colony. The enemy can't take the colony from us until they wipe out the manpower that's defending it. So this is like a garrison force. We can increase the size of that garrison force by getting certain technologies. Like if we build impervious bunkers, it increases the garrison force capacity from 200 to 350 and increases the amount of manpower that we can have in a given battle. So things like that. Planetary Guard increases it by 500 defense value. and then increases the amount of people that we can have deployed into a battle by another 100. So there's all kinds of things that manpower required for defense value, but then your ships also require manpower. When you send guys from your ships down to invade, you can see down here it's got 40 of 40 manpower. When you are in battle, your ships take casualties. They need to replace those casualties from your empire's manpower pool. If you're ever building a ton of ships at a time from a bunch of different places, you might run out of people. Those ships are less effective when they don't have enough manpower in them, and they can only regain their own manpower by orbiting friendly planets. So you have to abandon a campaign if your Marines all get wiped out, and you have to send your ships back to get more Marines put on them. Let's find out the last curiosity of the homeworld here. Oh no, aurora waves. Not great for science. They intercept all the machines and mess them up, but they have a lot of extra dust capacity. That's good. So that medium lava planet is going to be a big pain to settle. We're going to have to fix a lot of those problems before we settle on it. Then, I think we're going to send this guy over here to search the curiosities of this second system that we've colonized. So we've got big data shipyards. That would be something we want to build on our capital in order to increase the quality of new recruits. Give extra XP on new ships. But it takes 4 turns to build. I think we'll do it. The pirates aren't that big of a threat yet. We'll build big data shipyards first, so that when we do build these ships, they'll start at a higher veterancy level. We've got a curiosity here and a guardian there. So let's wait one more turn on that. I have thought about doing audiobooks. It's a lot of work. I've tried messing around with it. I might dig deeper into it in the future. But for now, I've tabled the idea. Oh, we've got pirates over here again. Damn it. You know, I think it says we've got a decent thing here. He doesn't have a lot of firepower. I think we can just withstand it. Excuse me. This is one of our new scout ships. They actually have defenses against energy attacks. So let's boost those by using power to the shields. Plus 75% shield absorption on ships. Even though they don't like long range, this will minimize the damage we take. So you want to watch the fight? This is kind of cool. You don't have to. You can skip it, and I do a lot of times. But you can see they've used hard target, bonus to long range defense bonuses on their ships. We've used power to the shields. So we're trying to stay at long range. They're trying to go to medium range. When you get bigger fleets, you have this portion of the fleet goes to medium range, and these two portions stay at long range. And it can really change the way the battles play out. Now I'm going to take over free camera here because the base game camera does a terrible job. Let's speed up the battle a little bit. Fire your one gun! Fire your one gun! We hit their shields a little bit one time! Yay! That's a weird looking ship. If we scan it, we can see we've done barely a dent to it. We haven't hit it really at all. And if we do an overview camera, we can see that they're actually starting at long range. They're going to get to medium range when they come into contact here. So the battle's progressing. We're doing a little damage to them. They're doing a lot of damage to us, though. Wow. Let's zoom in again here. That's not great. We're taking a lot more damage than I expected here, but we do have a small scout ship. Oh, man. Our shields are down. I don't think the scout ship's going to make it, guys. He just has to survive a little longer. Just a little longer. Oh, I think he made it. I think he made it. It's a draw. It's a draw. he didn't get killed. He managed to get out of there before the inevitable destruction. So actually, powered shields probably saved us. Because this guy is all about the energy damage. So anyway, we're running back home to heal up. These guys are now blockaded, which reduces, let's see, not food, but I think it reduces dust production by being blockaded, and I think it reduces science. It cuts it in half, basically. Which is bad. We don't want that. So that's why we're producing some of our own military to counteract these stupid bastards. Now, that was a probe. Obviously, the probe isn't going to do very well. He doesn't have many guns. He's not made for shooting. We're building a fleet to take on these damn pirates and show them who's boss. Yes, it becomes a draw because after a certain amount of time, they are able to escape, essentially. Neither ship had a lot of firepower, which is why that turned into a draw. All right, we've got a new scout we're going to send down here. Because the pirate, usually they don't stay for long. They move on. So we're going to send a new scout down there. Let's see. Do we want more firepower? What do we get? Additional manpower and manpower deployment limit. Those are for invasions. We don't need that. But this kind of thing, high energy magnetics, means our energy damage is boosted by a lot. That's not bad. Or projectile damage, one or the other. I don't think we need those defenses. I think that's not necessary. This helps us refill our manpower if needed. That does too. And we can't get to the third tier until we get at least one more thing in this second tier. That's what this lock means. And the third tier will make our civilian ships move faster. Which is interesting. Developing empire laws will give us more law options. Titanium probes. I'd like to go down the science tree, honestly, because what do we need? We need to be able to fix... Moon exploration is good. Cancel the negative effect of mixed anomalies. And then I think further down is wiping out, completely nullifying the negative effect of negative anomalies. Getting to this one is a decent goal since we have so many negative penalties on some of these systems. And that would require learning more about different colonization options. And also unlocking a science option. Let's do that. And then we'll look into this tree here. Well, you know, using dust to accelerate our construction queue is pretty valuable. We still don't have a lot of luxury deposits. The other thing that we'll do by researching this is get us to tier 3, which unlocks Hyperium engines, titanium colonizers. They not only colonize things, but they also have probes, which is nice. And we have a H-field fleet accelerator. It's another type of support module that increases the fleet movement speed. But more importantly still, we unlock new uncommon luxuries. Right now, all we can see is the common luxuries. This will unlock uncommon luxury resources, which is good to know because that will tell us, that helps us a lot. Remember, we just looked over here. This here gives you 15 per luxury deposit. But we don't know where all of those are yet. Then there are rare luxuries, I believe, here. And this increases the ability to detect more curiosities that we don't know about. And it allows us to access curiosities that we do know about right now but aren't available to us. So that's a good place to start. And opening up the market, if we've got nothing else to do, being able to buy strategic resources would probably be a very good idea. So we'll get galactic commodities as well. And we determined we do probably want to get that lava planet done eventually. Also, if we get 2 in this tree, we can start doing system developments. But we don't have any damn luxuries to do it with yet. Extra happiness and other things. Let's put this in the list too. This is a guardian, but we're going to do a non-guardian one because we want the loot. We want to find some strategic resources here. Oh, we got 20 XP on ships is the only thing we got limited. All right, let's keep searching with that ship. All right. So this Vine ship made it back from Talitha. If you recall, the pirates chased us away there. I guess we'll go back, and maybe we can spend some influence trying to sabotage this. So right now it's 6 turns at 3267 power. Oh, okay. What we've done... So, over time, this thing will spawn ships that are faster, stronger, and stronger. So by doing this, we're slowing down the point at which they travel around more often. The next fleet is going to be a single positron. If we support them, the next fleet becomes stronger. This improves your standing with them and also slightly increases pirate power gains. I mean, if they like us, they won't go for us, but I don't think I want to spend dust on it. We're going to wipe them out soon enough, I hope. I hope. You know, there's one more thing I do want to get. Where did we determine that siege? This guy. Let's put that on the list. The siege bonus when sieging. It helps us. It would help us take on the pirates faster. All right. This guy's come back here. He's just going to heal up. He's going to have to repair himself. He gets 8% per turn, which means 12 turns to go from nothing to 100, which means about 10 turns from where he's at. That's a long time. Meanwhile, he's just going to shoot some probes out into space. It's very difficult to tell, but you can see there's this area here that I'm outlining. This area here is actually not known to us. There's a little circle. We know this for some reason, but we don't know what's in this area here. So I'm going to send a probe out and see if there's a planet just chilling out in this space here. Meanwhile, this guy made it here, and he's going to start probing these systems. Now, we have colonized this huge monsoon planet. If we search these, there's a chance we find bad stuff, but I'm going to take that chance in the hope that we get good stuff. Oh, it was a trap. The pirates, they found us. Oh, but our crew follows a mysterious electronic ping all the way to its source, a half-buried control center in the overgrown ruins of one of the system's planets. A quick raid of the surprisingly modern computer system reveals a detailed map of the constellation, including a few systems in unexpected places. This is amazing! I love finding these. Hidden, isolated nodes near the constellation are revealed. That's great. And now, before the pirates kill us, let's find this other curiosity. Ooh. We found a new Guardian, which means we've gotten the second tier of the Guardian collection bonus, which is additional pacifist power, which means we found a Guardian, which is great. What that means is this planet has a Guardian in addition to everybody else, and now we've got a total population of 3 on this planet helping to grow things. I think. Let's see. No, it's only 2. The Guardian doesn't actually provide anything but the influence and the happiness, it looks like. Because these guys are producing... What's the base food here? The base food is 5. And each of them produce an additional 7. So they're producing 13 each? Oh, no, it's not fertile. They each produce an extra 2 each. So that means they produce 7 each... plus 5. So yeah, this guy is producing because we're getting 19 total. So the way I'm figuring that out, by the way, this is not obvious. Planet base output. Each population produces 5 food, 3 industry, 2 dust, 1 science, and 3 influence. So for every additional population, no matter what, that's the base they produce extra. So if I were to get an extra population, it would give an extra of those. Then each of these 2 guys gives an extra 2 food, just flat. It's not a fertile planet. So they don't get to add that extra +5 bonus. If I instead landed on the atoll, no, that's not even fertile. You need a forest or, well, let's see. We remember we had that little planet thing here. You need a Terran, ocean, jungle, or forest to get fertility, the top 4. So, oh, what was that? Oh, that was what we found before. I didn't know you could zoom in on these. That's cool. So what we're seeing here is that we have 5, and this guy is +2, so he's 7, that's 14. This guy doesn't give any additional food, so 14 plus the 5 base is 19. So that's where we're getting those numbers. So the Guardian does indeed improve the output of the planet, which is pretty cool. Alright, now I gotta figure out what to do with these pirates. Are they at least weaker? No, this is a trap. This is pincers. These guys are stronger than the previous ones. We're gonna, you know, take a page from Sir Robin's book and run away before he wipes us out. Hopefully. Hopefully before he does that. This guy's still going to sit here and repair. And this guy found a new planet with no curiosities to explore. Did we get out of there in time? Or is he blockading the planet? Whew! Just in time. Found an asteroid field. Yay. Oh, you know, we didn't look around. Hold on a second. Big data shipyards are going to start production now on our new ships. Look at this. Way out here, we discovered that planet as a result of that curiosity. Remember we found that signal? It's showing us all of the systems that are tied to this constellation but don't have those paths to them. And it looks like we only found that one. We knew about all the others. We knew about this one, we knew about that one, we knew about that one. Oh, we found this over here. What's this? A 5-planet system. Oh, that's great. And gas planets can be pretty strong. Look at that. It gets a lot of production. 2 very high production. A Terran, which is good for food. And then another Steps, which is good for production and food. So this is actually a great place to put some shipyards, even though they're way far away from the war. We might build that up to build very useful projects that normally take a long time to build. Atoll, balanced across the board except for influence, it's very high on. That doesn't show up on those charts there for some reason. Then a tiny swamp and a large swamp. Those are okay. I mean, I think the real benefit here is it's a poor deposit of blue cap mold, but at least it's a source of a luxury resource. Right now we have 0. That's a pain. There's no luxuries in our first area. There's no on the second one. There's not even any on the third. We gotta get Safe to join us here, because they at least have access to Eden incense. Let's make them like us a little more. A little more than that. So he healed a little bit. It's not a lot. We gotta wait. Ah! Here's our election. And a good time to stop so I can grab some lunch. Come back after that. But now, we know that the last survey had pacifists winning by a lot. When we throw our official support behind something, this is democracy, by the way, so all I can do in order to try and affect this outcome is I can throw my official support behind somebody, which increases the percentage-wise value of that party a little bit. If this was one of the other government types, like a republic or a federation or a dictatorship or whatever, then I could like try to rig the election or do some other things, but I can't. I can only throw my official support behind it because it's a democracy. What do we want? Ecologists are good for growth and colonization, and I think that's what we want. So I'm going to put my official support behind the ecologists and hope they come in second at least. So here's the election. We only have the 2 systems. That's a very fast election. But in this system, we have 6 pacifist vote representatives, 2 scientists, and 2 industrialists. And in the next one, we had 1 militarist and 2 pacifists. So it looks like the militarists are not going to be represented here. They actually joined a coalition with the industrialists. So you can see that's what this means here. Sometimes 2 weak factions will, if there's like a tie, right? There was basically a tie between the scientists and the industrialists, and the militarists threw in with the industrialists, as they are wont to do, in order to help out their faction they like the most. So if there was a tie between the 2 first place ones, then that could be very interesting. However, another interesting aspect of this is we have a hero who happens to represent one of these factions. He's actually a senator. Because his faction was elected, he's considered a hero and a senator. And so he can get special bonuses that, when he's in the Senate, apply to the entire empire, which is pretty cool. So, unlocked laws, make love not war. If we get peace and alliances, we get happiness. Safer routes, mean that our fleets and systems get much lower upkeep. And Eyes of the Stars increase probe vision and speed and recovery rate. That's actually really good. Let's take a look at those laws real quick. I think Make Love Not War is great because we can also force peace on the other guys, and then we'll have happiness and all our systems increase. How happy are our systems? They're all incredibly happy. They couldn't want more from what they've got in life. So, oh, because we recently colonized a system and we have that cool law. That's the new colony law. Oh no, we lost it! The damn coalition between the industrialists and the scientists kicked the ecologists out of the Senate. That sucks. We lost the new colony law. Yep. We didn't have any ecologists, actually. There were no ecologists represented. Despite the fact, you could see the ecologists had some representation, then it just tanked. It just tanked. So here's all the ways that militarists, for example, can increase in popularity. You know, constructing military vessels, building defense systems, recruiting militarist heroes, experiencing blockade sieges or enemy proximity to home systems. That's probably why the militarists gained at least one representative, because there was some of our systems plagued by pirates. And actually, we don't want to actually ask for a survey, but there's a whole thing showing that, I think. But I don't remember where it is now. I thought it was in here. Ah! No. Oh, yeah, you can just hover over these, it'll say it. So, if we want to get ecologists back in the Senate, we need to build food-generating constructions that boost all different FIDs. Recruit ecologist heroes, assign ecologist heroes to systems, diversify the population, construct civilian vessels, or do ecology quests and events. All right. So, we do have that militarist law option, actually. Let's take a quick look at those. Oh, no, we don't. They went safer routes. Well, we don't need Make Love Not War, because we already have happiness that's going through the roof. Now, as we expand, we're going to need more and more happiness. After we get 6 systems, every system we get beyond 6 will decrease approval, because the empire starts getting too big. And each system themselves actually have a point at which, see, this red area is overpopulation disapproval. So we've got penalties to our approval, minus 10, minus 15 from overpopulation. 2 guys here and 1 here means a total of minus 15, 5 each. So we need to find new and better ways to increase approval. But right now, we've got so many good ways, partly because of our old law. That plus 25 from the recently colonized systems from the new colony law was very good. Everybody really liked the new colonies kind of thing. However, the other thing is, the representation or not of your various political factions can make your people happier or not. So, if I'm playing as a republic which only gets 2 political parties, and I'm building all of my ships in one system, and so it gets very militaristic, and then the militarists don't get one of those 2 slots in the Senate, that system becomes unhappy, because you've got a lot of people that support the military there, but the military is not supported in the Senate. So right now, we've got plus 20 because these 3 representatives are the 3 leading powers in the political party. So the 3 people in the Senate are the same. If we go to the other system here, you can see that one of these are militarists, and they are not represented. So it looks like 3 per representative is either happy or, yeah, minus 3 for each representative from a not in charge political party, and 2 per representative from a party that is represented. It's just this so cool interlacking mechanisms that you can see how this all works, and when you come up with against crises, they make narrative sense to the game that you're playing. I love it. So we now got magnetic field generators. They cost titanium. We can't do that yet. We don't have access to titanium. I'm trying to get it. It's right there. I'm trying. But so far, the pirates kicked me out of it once already. And I'm kind of a little worried here. This ship is healing at a slower rate than if they were at a home planet. And if they have to retreat again, they might die instead. They lose 60% of their health when they retreat. So here's hoping that the pirates don't disrupt us again. And again. And again. Alright, but the good news is, we're starting production on our fleet, and that'll be completely done in 21 turns. Hopefully sooner. Yep, we lost that law, is what it's telling us. Alright. So our vine ship is going to start the process again of vining it up here. And we're going to build a vine ship. These two could probably hold us off. The vine ship is actually going to cost us the most of the time to finish the fleet. But I want to speed up the colonization process of the Talitha system. I wonder if there's a way that we can speed up the colonization process somewhere in here. I haven't seen it, but I'll do some research while I'm eating lunch. But for now, we're going to call that for the day. Thank you guys for watching. Well, for the now. I'm probably going to pick it up in about an hour if you'd like to rejoin the stream. Have a good one, everybody. Catch you later.